Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Finally got the chance to upload a video, even though I'm a little bit delayed because of work and whatnot, but I did rainbow this guy into the EZA stats as soon as it came out, just haven't had a chance to test it out. So I thought about a couple of variations of how to go about it, and I think the best way to test this unit out with the upgrades is on the Legendary Goku Event. So as you saw, that is pretty much my Potara setup. I'm not bringing in any support units. Honestly, with this type of event, you want to build a fairly decent team, so that's pretty much a format with that. Now, my goal in the first segment of the battle is pretty much to have this guy linked up with the Tech Vegito Blue. They tend to link up pretty well. Having the Fused Fighter link skill helps out quite a bit. When it comes to the LR Vegito unit, before the transformation to the actual Vegito unit, the links are a little bit tricky, to say the least. Basically, it's hard for the LR Vegito, or I guess LR Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta, to get the 18 key super. So from like the early parts of the battle, I pretty much am going to link up the EZA Agility Super Vegito unit with the Tech Vegito Blue, just because links are better, and then I want Tech Vegito Blue to be able to stack that attack and defense a lot more frequently. And I also wanted to pretty much show you guys the benefit of having the Agility Super Vegito's allies increase to attack 35% from the super attack. So Tech Vegito Blue will definitely benefit greatly from that. And going into this video, I can already tell I'm going to be using the word Vegito quite a bit. So I don't know, I hope you're not putting in a counter or a ticker on how many times I say that. But let's go ahead and cover the stats, because this is actually the first time I'm actually showcasing the unit. So for this unit, leader skill has changed to agility types key +4, HP attack and defense increase of 100%. With the super attack, again, raises allies attack by 35% for one turn, along with causing immense damage. The passive skill is where things get a little bit, I wouldn't say issue, but I mean, it makes it, you have to like rearrange how you use the unit. Essentially, it's not as freeform as you'd like. Attack and defense increase of 40% within the same turn after receiving an attack. So obviously the best placement for this guy is in the first slot. Foresees enemies super attack when HP is 40% or less. Damage received from normal attacks minus 80% encounters with tremendous power. In terms of links, Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Prepare for Battle, Power Bestowed by God, Fused Fighter, Shocking Speed, and Fierce Battle. So again, this guy does share the Fused Fighter link skill with the Tech Vegito Blue, so obviously that's +2 key, and that does help out tremendously. For the categories, it's Majin Buu Saga, Potara, and Super Saiyans. 100% with the EZA is going to be HP of 18,407, attack 18,705, and defense is 10,474. 12 key multiplier is 150%. Again, this guy is going to be, I'm basically going to place him in the first slot, especially when attacks are incoming, before anyone attacks in my rotation. That way, we see that 40% to attack and defense as much as possible. Again, with that being said, I'm not going to force that to happen every single time, because depending on the types of Goku enemies you're facing, Vegito can end up taking a lot of damage. And that's the unfortunate thing, right, is the unit's still somewhat of a liability against super attacks, even though with normal attacks you can still, tank pretty much all of them with great counter mechanics. But when it comes to the super attacks, you definitely do still see pretty hefty damage applied. So that is one thing to be wary of. But other than that, I mean, it's a solid unit, nice upgrade. Honestly, it's very nice to be able to see the unit perform, like 1.5 million attack stats. It's very nice to be able to see that. It's long been overdue, and that in itself is quite a bit of an upgrade. And the counter ability is still amazing. Now, this is going to be on a pretty tough event, so if you're going on different scenarios like your regular Dokkan events or Boss Rush or even Infinite Dragon Ball History, the guy's going to do obviously a lot better. The types of enemies you're facing on this Legendary Goku event are obviously much stronger. So with that being said, I'm sure you guys have tested it around by now, but maybe global players, you're seeing this for the first time and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the most difficult events, so obviously things are a little bit more, I don't know, difficulty levels raised up quite a bit, type of deal. again, I've got like Goku Black, LR Goku Black unit, transforming Goku Black. Goku Black, the LR version, I pretty much included. I like to include that unit because of the HP recovery. That helps out quite a bit in terms of mitigating item usage. The transforming Goku Black obviously is in there because of the ability to stack defense, so toward the end of the battle, this guy does pretty well defensively in terms of tanking attacks. Now, Rose's on there pretty much as a floater to support the other two units when on the same rotation because of that defensive boost and key boost. So that's pretty much one of the main reasons on there. I thought about potentially including some support units, you know, like the Supreme Kaya Time, or even like the Gowasu unit, Gowasu and Zamasu unit. But I wanted to keep it to a team that I would typically run on the Potara setup. That's pretty much why I'm running this team. And whenever I'm going through events and stuff like that, and I do have to use this category, this is pretty much a setup I go with. It's pretty balanced, and I enjoy running them. And in terms of like who to link up with who, you kind of get like an idea of who does best with whoever, you know, on the same rotation. So that's pretty much the deal with that. And as you can see, I mean, you know, the agility Super Vegito after the EZA, I mean, it's quite good. Now, again, you're limited to getting that 40% to attack and defense based on being attacked first. So in order to get the benefit of that from the super attack, of course, you have to place that unit in the first slot. Otherwise, you can only benefit from that with the counter attacks, which is still fine too. The other thing too to note is by being in the first slot position, remember the super attack ability does raise allies attack by 35%. So the other two units on the rotation are going to benefit from that, especially with additional attacks for extra super attack kick in. You know, you're looking at quite a bit of a boost toward allies attack. So those are like definitely things to keep in mind with that. But you know, all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the Extreme Z Awakening for the Agility Super Vegito. I think they did quite nicely. Of course, the unit's not as broken as a lot of people had hoped for, but you know, I think from an overall perspective, the unit's, you know, it's a great unit. I mean, it was already a good unit as it was, and with the EZA, I think they made the modifications that they needed to, and that's, you know, pretty much it. So, I mean, again, overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the final product. Was there room for additional, you know, adjustments? I think my only complaint, honestly, if they got rid of the restriction of being attacked first in order to benefit from a, you know, 40% attack and defense increase, I think that's my only gripe with the EZA skill sets. Other than that, I think it's pretty well executed. Okay, so we're on to the Super Saiyan God Goku portion of it. We're kind of blasting through. I kind of try to go through this as quickly as possible, you know, just to see how fast I could run through it. So there are certain situations here, like especially this moment right here with the Dokkan mode attack. I could have put the Agility Vegito unit on the first slot, but of course he's going to have type disadvantage, and you're just better off putting the Tech Vegito Blue at that point. So, you know, I'm not going to force things to happen just for them to happen. You know what I mean? Like, if it makes sense to place them in the first slot, I'll do that. Otherwise, you know, the whole point of this run was to make it as realistic as possible, I guess, like what you would typically run as. I did also forget to note in the beginning, if I haven't mentioned it already, is by including support, like, for example, the double support rotation that I tested with the Tech Vegito unit and the Intelligence Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. After that passive skill kicks in with the 40% toward attack, Super Vegito was able to get the attack stats upwards of close to 3 million. So, you know, with the support, with the right, you know, scenarios, like this guy will be substantially higher in attack stats. But of course, again, that is with a double rotation setup. When the leaks first came out, or the information was first announced, given the skill sets, my guess was about 1.5 million in attack stats on a normal situation or rotation, and it looks like that's pretty much the case here, where you're topping out at about 1.5 million with that 40% buff toward attack and defense once you receive that attack. So that's kind of, you know, that's definitely a good spot to be in, honestly, compared to what it was. I mean, you have to put it in perspective. I remember it was very, very difficult to get to even close to 1 million, I think, if I remember correctly, with this unit before the EZA. So if you look at it from that perspective, the unit was improved quite a bit. So, all right. So with this being said, I am going to basically have the Agility Super Vegito unit link up with the LR Vegito unit once we get to the Ultra Instinct Goku battle stages. I want to stack up the Tech Vegito Blue unit as much as possible in the meantime, and then once we get to that point, they'll be linking up together. So it helps out because after the transformation, LR Vegito will have the Fuse Fighter Link skill. So again, that is +2 key, and that's going to help out quite a bit along with having Prepare for Battle, which is +2 key. So essentially it makes getting the 18 key super with LR Vegito a lot easier, and that's kind of why I held off in the beginning portion of it and maintained the rotation with the tech version and with the EZA unit. That's pretty much the format with that. And as far as I know, no items used up until beating the Super Saiyan Blue Goku unit. That's pretty much typically the checkpoint that I use to gauge how the run is going. Basically, if I don't use an item up until this point, then we're in pretty good shape. So that's kind of like the benchmark I go by every time I go through the Legendary Goku event, is just try not use an item until you get to this point. So with that being said, immediately once the battle starts, I went ahead and used the Whis item to get that 40% reduction of damage for 2 turns, because starting here, Goku is going to be hitting for a lot. I mean, even for tanks, they're going to be taking some decent damage. So it's always good to go ahead and plan ahead, especially considering I do have units like the Strength Rose and LR Goku Black. Those guys tend to take pretty heavy hits, and yeah, I mean, one slip up and you're pretty much done for, and you get KO'd. So you got to be careful with that. It's funny too, because the first half of this video right here, right, is basically the first couple of battles, and then like the last 2 battles take the same amount of time, so that pretty much tells you how much time it actually takes for the last 2 stages. So here we go. We're able to see, the incoming attacks. Luckily in this case, I was like, should I go ahead and use an item here? But looking at the map here, you can tell that no attacks or no super attacks are coming from the UI Goku. So we know we're good. We have enough HP levels to where we can pretty much withstand all of the attacks here. Basically, the point being, I wanted the HP levels to be low enough to where in the next rotation I get that second transformation for LR Vegito. That's pretty much the whole point of kind of looking through this, and being able to see the incoming enemy attacks and super attacks definitely does help make decision making a lot easier. So that's one of the benefits with having the EZA upgrades, is like in really tough situations where you really have to think about rationing out items, this definitely does have beneficial value. So that inclusion is actually pretty cool. I didn't expect that to ever be placed on a unit like Super Vegito, honestly, so it's quite interesting. Alright, so we have about 3 HP bars cut off, and we've got the second set of transformations coming in, so everybody's good. We'll get the HP recovery, so pretty much have everything set to where it needs to be. So once this was completed, I'm like, okay, now we can go ahead and link up the friend lead at 100% potentials, LR Vegito, with the EZA Super Vegito unit, and see how things go, because it's pretty much 2 units countering every rotation. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see. And the problem, right, against these 2 guys, like the 2 versions of Ultra Instinct Goku, is essentially if you don't get criticals, you're not going to be applying that much in damage. So even with the counters, that's kind of the problem with that. So by the way, the transforming Goku Black only has 1 dupe, so that's an additional insight as to how that unit's doing. Actually quite good compared, considering that he only has one dupe path unlocked. So alright, we're slowly getting that HP level down. Maybe another Okay, so this is where that super comes in. And 260,000 in damage taken, but we had plenty of HP left over because the transformation took place in full HP recovery, so you know we're in pretty good shape, plus we have a lot of items left over. We'll go ahead and recover HP right here and then reduce damage by 30% for 1 turn. The reason being, like, Rose at the end is the one I was worried about here. You got like 3 or 4 attacks coming up against them, and that could easily wipe out a lot of HP, so you gotta play it safe sometimes. I do love this rotation right here with the Tech Vegito Blue and the Agility Super Vegito unit. It's actually quite nice, especially with the longer battles. I mean, you're looking at, you know, the Tech version applying a bunch of damage with additional supers. You know, the EZA Super Vegito obviously counters, and you know you can get some damage out of that as well. If you put the EZA unit on the first slot, of course the Tech version gets a benefit from the super attack as well. And you know, honestly, so before the EZA was even announced, this guy was rainbowed for the longest time, and it was level 11 additional attack, level 15 criticals. You know, with that 35% boost with the super attack changing a little bit, I don't know. I'm like debating if I should go with level 14 additional attack and maybe like level 12 criticals, but I haven't made my mind up yet with that one. I actually do have an extra copy just sitting there, so I could rearrange some of the stuff with that too. But I don't know. I haven't decided what to do yet. Alright, finally to the last battle. This one took a little while. Like, honestly, the last 2 battles take so much longer than, like, the first 5, which is funny, you know? Like, I guess it tells you. It is 5, right? You got Base Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan 2, 3, God. So 6 battles, I guess, initially, before even the last 2. So, yeah. The last 2 battles take the same amount of time as the first 6. That's quite interesting. But, here we go. So, we got a lot of attacks coming for the first 2 units, and that means a lot of counters. Honestly, I would have been better off placing the LR Vegito in the first slot, but because this is, in a way, a showcase and highlight for the Agility EZA, I figured I would put him where all the attacks are coming up, and you saw how much damage was taken there, even with the, you know, item reducing, mitigating, you know, decisions. I mean, you're still looking at a lot of damage taken, so again, this guy is very good, but he's still a liability with the enemy super attack. So that's really one of the things that does hurt this unit still. Yeah, and it's like without the crits on the counter, damage is a lot less. But once you get that crit, you know, 636,000 is what I think that was, and then without it, you know, it drops to 350. So yeah, that's really the important one with this one is making sure the counters are good. Of course, this is an LR version, so it's not even a fair comparison to the Agility EZA. So like, as much as I would like to be like, you know, the LR counter for so much more, blah blah blah, it's really not fair to compare the 2 units. You know, it's essentially apples and oranges, so it's not even a fair, you know, competition at that point. Yeah, with transforming Goku Black, 1.66 million attack stats with only 1 do that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I really need to get dupes for LR Vegito, though. I still haven't pulled a dupe for him. Okay, so this is where I get a little bit of an issue, right? Because of LR Goku Black, but you can still see the incoming supers from UI Goku, so that actually does help in terms of where to place everybody. We'll go ahead and use some items here to basically mitigate the damage, mainly against the ones coming up to LR Goku Black. That's pretty much the only one I'm worried about at this point. LR Vegito will definitely take some damage, but I think, you know, that unit will be okay, even with the super attack received. So I'm not too concerned about it, but you know, it could definitely easily be like close to 200,000 in damage just from, you know, the super attack from UI Goku. Alright, luckily got the crit there, so halfway there I think with the HP bars for Goku, so slowly chipping away, and this one does take time. Alright, let's see how much damage received here. Oh yeah, no, what am I thinking? I used like 2 items, so it's like double digits probably. Yeah, 9, so I forgot, this is basically like providing commentary after the fact, so I forgot I used 2 items. Essentially what happened was pretty much annihilated any risk of damage at this point, because again it came down to worrying about LR Goku Black, right? So even with 1 item, that unit could potentially take a decent amount of hits. So with that being said, I didn't want to kill the run just because of my greediness with rationing items. Sometimes it's not worth it, you know. At this point I knew I had a fair amount of items left over that I would be in pretty good condition, even if it came down to, you know, 1 left over. So with that being said, that's pretty much what the deal was last rotation. I'd say we've got about 2 or 3 more rotations coming up. Dokkan mode gauge is filling up too, so I think not the next one, but the one after that we should be able to fulfill it. And yeah, so you know, either Goku Black or Tech Vegito Blue will end up taking that one. Most likely it'll be the Tech Vegito Blue, obviously, because the attack has been stacking up to this point. And we need a couple of, I was about to say we need a couple of counters, but my version of LR Vegito does not have any levels toward counters, so that is pretty much out of the question. And that's kind of why I put that one as a floater. I'd rather maintain the rotation with transforming Goku Black and Tech Vegito Blue, because their defense is way, way better at that point anyway. Alright, again, went ahead and used an item because, again, Rose is a little bit worrisome, so that's pretty much the reasoning behind that. And I'm leaving enough of the Tech Orbs for Tech Vegito Blue to make sure that unit's able to get that 12 key super attack for the Dokkan mode attack, because I knew at this point the gauge wasn't going to fill up. So yeah, I mean 380,000 counters with the EZA against the last battle in the Legendary Goku event. I think that's more than reasonable in my opinion. You know, like that's, yeah, I mean I'm perfectly okay with that kind of number. 518,000 on that one. Like overall, I'm just happy the unit finally got an EZA. I think a lot of people were probably disappointed in some way or another because of I don't know, a sense of underwhelming, I guess, results. But the way I look at it, like you got to understand how the unit was prior to the EZA and what that unit became afterwards. So it's a hell of an improvement either way. So especially if you get that 40% passive active, the unit's pretty good. So I'll leave it at that. Okay, so we left enough HP bars left over to get the Dokkan mode attack, so we're pretty much going to finish off here. And it should be just one clean attack, and that should be it. Plenty of items, or plenty of HP levels, so I'm not worried about any attacks. Of course, defense is good with the first 2 units in a rotation. We've been stacking it throughout the course of the battle, so no concerns there. And, you know, if the Dokkan mode fails, which I doubt, transforming Goku Black still has that ability to get the super attack as well before any attacks are received, so we're good. I guess the only thing is, like, if UI Goku dodged, but he can't dodge a Dokkan mode attack, fortunately. Alright, so that's pretty much the inclusion of the Super Agility EZA Super Vegito unit, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, sorry for the delay, but work's been killing me this past week, finally a weekend, so I'm hoping to catch up on content. But again, as always, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later. Alright, peace out.